second, original art size. Comic book. Where's our box of comic books? This is a typical comic book size. It's actually found as a graphic novel, but it's a typical size book, right? This art in here is about 6 by 9. The lighter. So anyway, 6 by 9. Did Scott McCloud draw his original pages at 6 by 9? Did you draw this size? You don't know what size he drew them necessarily, but it's a pretty good guess he didn't draw them this big. Because it'd be really hard to draw this stuff this little, you know? It's a very typical thing to draw much bigger than the print size. Usually around 150% bigger. So 1.5 times this size. Give or take, because the standard size that you'll draw at is 10 inches by 15 inches. 10 inches by 15 inches is a 2 to 3 ratio. The 2 to 3 ratio means that this edge is a multiple of 2, this edge is a multiple of 3. What's another 2 to 3 ratio?
6 by 9.
6 by 9, what else? I know you're bad at math, but think about it. 2 to 3, multiply 2 by something, and multiply 3 by the same thing.
8 by 12.
8 by 12. So you could make a page that's, what would it be, 18 by 27? Is that right?
8 by 9. So, yeah.
So you could make a page that big and reduce it down to 2 by 3 inches if you want to, and make a tiny mini comic. All right, so the idea of ratio is important because if you know that your comics need to be in a book that's this shape, you need to draw comics that are this shape, no matter how big you draw them. They have to be the same shape so that they reduce down and fit well within the book. If Scott was drawing at a 3 to 4 ratio, which is more like a magazine shape, a little bit wider, his comics, when they were in here, what would they look like? They'd either be cut off if they're too big, but if they went all the way in, they fit all the way in, what would they look like in here? Exactly, they'd be smaller. They'd be small, you'd have to print them even smaller, and they'd have a big margin at the top, a big margin at the bottom, and then little tiny margins at the sides. Because it's more square, right? So you have to kind of squash in there. Well, you can, but then your art's getting stretched. You know, I mean, you can do whatever you want to do to try to make them fit, but they're going to look funny.